Hello everyone, welcome to our weekly international prop chat, episode 59 on every Friday at 9:30 p.m. Malaysia time or GMT +8. I'm Mandy Chen, head of IQI International Sales. Thank you for tuning in and support our program. For those who are new to our international prop chat, our Friday program will share on different countries, cultures, lifestyles, investment criteria, migrations, working experience, and interesting story of the respective speaker.
I'm Angela Chen, Senior International Property Consultant from IQI Global, Asia's largest real estate and investment advisory firms and the member of Juwai IQI. Tonight, we are going to share pros and cons investing a house versus apartment in Australia, part 2. Let us just recap what we have mentioned in part 1. For those who missed this episode, we talk about 3 major reasons for investment. Of course, one, the purpose of the investments, whether it's to migrations, holiday homes, or for kids. And of course, the second one will be the rental yield, whereby locations of apartments can reach a rental yield of 4 to 5%, whereas the rest, like houses, 3% to be more conservative. Okay, and also the third one, we did touch on the capital appreciations. There, where we talk about the demand and supply of the locations and the vacancy rates, demographics, and of course, infrastructure such as walk scores of the properties in which the locations, accessibilities to public transports, essentially important to fetch higher appreciations.
Yeah, precisely. And today we are going to talk more about the criteria of the pros and cons of investing a house versus apartment. So this is actually part 2. Well, let us talk about buying a house. Surely, I mean, when you talk about house, we definitely think of the space you are looking after. And house often is actually offer lots more rooms to move in rather than apartments, as is suitable if you have a big family or you need small room, okay, for your families or kids. Nevertheless, most houses come with a lot of like a front and rear backyard where you can actually build your courtyard or your entertainment space and your pergola, and add a pool if you want, so that you have enough outdoor space, and especially for kids, and you like gardens, definitely that is garden space for you. And for pet lovers, definitely this is a better choice.
Yes, you are right. If you own your house, you can more or less do whatever you like. I mean, of course, within reason, of course, right? You can't, as long as you keep the council and building regulations in mind. Well, you can renovate your home whatever or however you want, such as your interior design choices, such as built-in cabinets with a choice of materials and colors, and also your desired bathroom tiles and carpets too. But this definitely can't have it in the apartments because you're talking about projects and most of it will be the same. Although some of the projects does allow you to choose some of the choices of colors, either light or dark schemes. But overall material is no ways, okay? So majority of the standard types are the designs layout and more or less the same type of units, in terms of designs.
Yep, exactly. Unless you are talking about like some of the luxury penthouse, and of course the choice are wider range, because normally when we talk about apartments, the space is actually limited. We are talking about at least it's like 1 to 3 bedroom. Hardly you can actually find 4 bedrooms apartments unless not in the cities or inner city, perhaps further away. Okay, and if you were to buy for own stay, and like I mentioned just now, if you have big family member, at least like 4 or 5 family members, house is actually definitely a better choice. But bear in mind that apartment living can give you access to lots of range of the amenities that you may not otherwise get it with a house. Think about the swimming pool, the indoor gym, rooftop entertainment, parking, car parking, and a security systems. Plus, you don't even have to maintain the pool because you are actually paying all the maintenance fees to the body corporate. So you do not have to maintain it with your personal cost, so to speak, and you wouldn't have to leave the property to take a swim or play extra for a gym membership.
Yeah, sometimes it does take times if you go out, right? But again, most of the time when we talk about apartments, the main concerns from the buyer is always the body corporates, or you would say in Malaysia, maintenance fees or sinking fees. Okay, you will have to take into account that monthly maintenance fee that goes to the management body. And this is also one of the main factors that a lot of people does not like apartment is because of the reasons.
Yep. And especially you talk about if the apartments have lots of facilities, definitely your body corporate will be much higher. So I would say that monies go to the maintenance of securities, the common areas. All this will be actually quite expensive, especially in newer properties. And bear in mind that all these body corporate can be increased on the yearly basis. So be prepared for it if, let's say, you are buying those apartments with lots of facilities. So chances that your maintenance fee will be increased on the yearly basis. So if you are planning on retiring in an apartment, so usually you need to continue paying the maintenance fees as long as you stay in the apartments, and whether your loan is paying off or not, you still need to pay. And of course, you won't have to worry about this that if you are renting out, because in Australia, if you were to rent out your properties, or I would say the other way around. I mean, as a tenant, you probably don't have to worry because the landlord will actually pay for the maintenance fee. But as a landlord, perhaps you probably got to worry because that it's gonna increase your cost. All right. So furthermore, these days, I would say young professional or students or young generations, they love this kind of facilities. They like staying in apartments, less and well, easy to maintain as well. So for you, what do you think? I mean, do you prefer to have apartment with facilities or rather not?
Of course, I do. when even though if you time to time if you happen to serve anyone's for tenancy, they will ask you what kind of facilities. Can I have a look at the facilities?
Mhm.
So do you think facilities is not important? They do actually sometimes, right? Of course, to some house owner, they will probably think that less facilities, you're less body cops. But then again, that many tenants actually prefer whether they go or they don't go. It's just the impressions, they can impress their guests or friends who come over here. Can we have a swim? Can we go to the rooftop? And so on. So coming back to our topic, let's welcome to those who have just tuned in into our international project, episode 59. The IPC is held every Friday, 9:30 p.m. Malaysia, or you can say GMT +8. I'm Angela with Mandy, Chen from IQI International Consultant Teams of Malaysia. Tonight's topic is pros and cons investing a house versus apartment in Australia, part 2, okay? Do give us a plenty of support and likes to our international prop chat channel. So Mandy, what about you? Do you prefer to own an apartment or a house in Australia?
Well, okay. Initially, when I thought of investing in Australia, so this come into my mind for this, whether should I buy an apartment or a house. Honestly speaking, initially I still think that I want to buy an apartment because it's relatively, I would say, less expensive in a way, okay, and in terms of the cost, it's more effective to invest in apartment because the rental yield is much higher. But after I own an apartment, so right now, if you were to ask me again, okay, perhaps my next target will be house instead. All right, since I have one already, if I want to diversify my investment portfolio, definitely I would choose house. Okay, so generally I would say is that apartments tend to be smaller than house. Okay, in terms of the utility bills, probably will be lower compared to house. And if you are living somewhere on the top floor of the high rise or whatsoever, you probably blessed with all the natural breeze, reducing your reliance on the air conditioner sometimes. All right, and you may able to enjoy using the basic facilities that are being offered within the apartments.
Yes, moreover, apartments comes in the range of the sizes. So you can actually looking for a space just for yourself, or you can opt for studios or even one bedrooms, which is made specially for one or two persons. Otherwise, to find a grounded properties that's small enough for just one person, I would say that it is impossible, okay? But if you are a fan of nature, then this will be a real deal breaker. I'm sure that you can still pack plenty of pots, plants on your balcony, but there is nothing like the smell of the grass after the rain. I don't know about you. I do love, okay? I do love the smells. And being able to walk out the house into a little corner of the natures, that's really your own. I mean, I obviously love rainings, especially after rains. It was so fresh, really fresh. But I'm not saying balcony. So long the apartments have balcony is still good. But just that, no, you can't plan your own thing. Well, the pot you can still plant, but usually we will buy that when it's already ready, right? So yeah.
Okay, of course, depends on different types of apartments. Okay, nowadays, if you are talking apartment in the CBDs, hardly they probably would have a balcony. Okay, in the
Okay.
by itself. Okay, and in fact, a lot of people might say that I don't need balcony. Okay, because
Yes.
it's a waste of space. Okay, I'd rather have maximize my internal build-up area instead. So it depends on each preference. And
Yeah.
of course, if you like gardening, okay, or you have kids that you would like to actually create a small playground for your kids, then definitely I would say if you own a landed, then definitely there will be a better choice, okay, because you have more space for it. So in fact, living in a house, I would say generally, in terms of the cost, I would say it's more expensive compared to the apartments, simply because you have more space to heat and cool, okay? I mean, in this case, I'm talking about electricity bill, okay?
Yes.
In Australia, electricity bill is not cheap as well, okay? So, and you probably need lots more furnitures to buy or more decorative items to decorate your house, okay? And especially you talk about landscaping in your gardens, all these you need to be maintained and clean, okay? And if you really have trees, then you definitely need to trim, okay? And window, you need extra times to wash it because you probably have more windows, okay?
Yeah. If you don't do it, probably you get complaints, from the
Yeah,
neighbor. Yeah.
exactly. So then you probably need to clean more of the bathroom in the events that you need in the house. You probably have more bathroom or powder room compared to apartments, okay? Because with the limited space. So therefore, it's like if you like all these housekeeping, doing all this house chore job, okay, definitely you will enjoy it. Otherwise, you won't. Okay, you probably don't want to spend the whole weekend doing the cleaning, trimming the plants, okay, doing all sort of gardenings. Okay, so this is probably will create a lot of work. Okay, and if you are not a DIY person, okay, and doesn't like to get yourself sweat over it, climbing up and down, I don't think house is a good idea, especially nowadays you talk about kids, okay? Or they are more pampered, okay? Or they probably have maids at home. So all these things will be either done by maid all the parents, okay? So if you ask them to do all these things, probably they will say a big no.
Also bear in mind they do in Australia, most of the time you buy furnitures, you have to really assemble yourself. Like IKEA, it's not like what our Malaysian style is all done up nicely, So yeah, DIY is one of the main things that you have to be professional in it.
Yeah, but then you come to think about it, a lot of locals, they rather prefer DIY because they will save a lot of cost, and
Yes.
so partly because this is some sort of their hobbies, okay? And you can see a lot of those bunning warehouse whereby you can buy lots of things there and assemble it by yourself, okay? So that is one of it. But
Yeah.
I do know that if you're buying house for your kids, okay, especially they're studying or working, I don't think they like to doing all this gardening or housekeeping, okay? And bear in mind, okay, the cost of engaging a cleaner, okay, or gardener is not cheap, especially in Australia, because they count by per hour, okay? Depends how much you want to spend per week, okay? Easily, I would say at least 100 to 200 Aussie dollars, depends how many hours you want them to clean up your area, okay? And this is definitely a cost for you, okay? And like just now you mentioned, if you don't cut the glass, okay, when it's long and messy, okay, council have the right to fine you, especially you are talking about landed properties. So if you are that type of person who love low maintenance lifestyles and would rather spend your weekend out partying, okay, or picnic outside, then apartments are definitely more appealing and would be a smaller surface to keep it clean as well. Yep.
Yeah, but unfortunately, living in the apartments, meaning you're actually dealing with more neighbors than usual, So you will go to see and hear. You may hear, a lot of more noises, whether it's someone above you or having a parties on Friday night, or a couple next door having a domestic. You are going to hear it anyway. Okay, I suppose noisy neighbors are part and parcels for apartments living. So it is also one of the things that you need or you have to bear with it. Okay, so again, that investing in a property, then, and if you are not going to stay there and it's just partially investments, then this will be definitely your tenant's issue. Okay, so like Mandy, you buy something, you rent it out, they have to deal with it, okay, not us, okay? So the complaints will be made from them, okay? So this is one of the issues that you probably don't have to consider at all for investor. Anyway, investing in a house usually have more privacy, of course, like it says, instead of apartments. I mean, you don't have to worry about overhearing your neighbors' late nights activities and, kind of outwardly running into them the next morning in the lift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you should show a smiling face or you should put a long face because of the noise last night.
Okay, so but on the other hand, if you live in a house, you probably might face some friendly neighbors. You'll be invited to join more of the community's activities and gathering they have. And in fact, some of the neighborhood, they have those especially locals, they are rather friendly. Okay,
Potluck.
Yeah, either potluck, so they will probably make cakes and dessert for you. So in exchange, you gotta make something for them as well.
Yeah, I don't think apartment have this kind of arrangement. I guess maybe it's because of the kitchen is rather, compact. I wouldn't say it's small. It depends, right? Now, so not kind of heavy cooking there in a sense that, right? So maybe you probably have not as much food as you stay in a house or neighborhood in a house.
Yep, exactly. And especially you talk about shopping, okay, with lots of shopping bags and all those things. And imagine you are staying in apartments, you got to carry all the shopping bag from the car park to the elevator, then to your units, okay. Imagine you are alone, okay, carry at least like 6 or 8 bags, okay, or you're running a few rounds just to get all this up to your units, okay. So unlike if you're staying in a house, your car straight away park into the garage, okay, and you can actually load and unload all your stuff easily, okay, and within the compound. So that is one of the setback, okay, if you were to go for grocery shopping. So so this is normally what we see, okay.
Yeah,
And
imagine you carrying a baby, and then you have a few bags to take, and you have to press the leaf.
yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Or you have 2 children with you, okay, one is
Yeah.
mommy, the other mommy, but you need to the other hand you've got to carry every stuff, okay. So it's kind of tough, okay, especially you stay in apartments, because I have seen a lot of this kind of situation happen before, okay. And of course you talk about if you were to go to picnic, and I'm sure you probably carry a lot of stuff as well. So whether heading to the pool or to the playground, again, if you were to stay in a house, probably it's a bit easier, okay. But if it's you're staying in apartments, so you got to carry everything all the way from your unit to the car parks, okay. Unlike if you are in a house, there is at your doorstep or at your garage to your kitchenway. So,
Yeah, you actually, the most of the houses, they have a designs in such a way that the entries is right away to the kitchen first, right? Yes. So most of the designs are like that, because I guess they are not like in Malaysia. They shop. I mean, they go to wet market every day. No way. I don't think most of the people stay in a house. I mean, some of the friends does that. They still pack everything within a week. So they are buying a lot of things. So therefore, their houses are usually designed such way that, if they do have two entrances, there'll be one entrance right at the car park where you just go in, and then right away to the kitchen, and you can put everything there.
okay, talking
Right?
about this layout, right? Sometimes you
Yeah.
can see those house layout, right, where the master bedroom is right in front.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of my my clients, okay, will ask me, why master bedroom right in front of the house? Can't it at the back, more privacy? But sometimes I guess it's because of the security. They want to know instantly what happened. Okay, so therefore they prefer the master bedroom is actually
But
to the
yeah,
main door. Yeah.
but again, that most of the backyard, they always have BBQ, the kind of pagoda stuff, or then the patio. So that's why, that is most likely why I think that is the reason why they don't want to design the master bedroom at the back, is because it tends to be noisy. So sometimes, people prefer to sleep early, and while the husband is still having a BBQ with friends, or having a few beers with friends, at least they are away, not as noisy as it is, right?
Yep. So it all depends on what sort of designs that you're actually looking at.
Yeah.
Of course, buying into a house, you probably have the choice of choosing what sort of layout that you prefer.
Yes.
Unlike apartments, it's like quite standard. Okay, you can't actually amend anything. Okay, based on the layout and the design. Yep.
And again, not every apartment comes with a parking space, especially you're talking about the real small units. So most of the apartments only come with one car park. And then if you have multiple cars, you may have to pay a premium on parking, or you have to put up, endlessly circulating your blocks looking for a street parking. So parking is one of the issues for, multiple cars. And again, that parking can be also quite challenging for some visitors, especially buildings comes with just 3 visitor car parks, spots. And it's like next to no on streets parking. Oh my God, where do you want to keep it?
Yeah, sometimes it's like when you talk about if you would buy those apartments in CBD, okay, or in
Yeah.
cities that is prime locations, most of the time, if it's one bedroom, especially nowadays, land is scarce and it's costly as well. So therefore, a lot of newer projects, right, they do not come with car park, especially for one bedroom.
Yeah.
So you have to take note of it, okay? Of course, car park is perhaps one of the plus point, okay, when it comes to valuations and everything, which we will actually touch more on our part 3, okay, our episode next month to talk about more on the cost of buying a house versus apartment. So we will actually cover this as well. So this one is one of the point, okay, but in contrast, we can actually say that if you would buy city apartments, most of the time is the location is actually easy accessible to public transportations and amenities. So even without a car or without a parking space, it's still all right because you can actually rely on the public transportations. So this one is actually quite all right. Unlike if you will buy a house, then it's different thing because normally house is actually away from cities and normally it's a community by itself that you probably will not be next to the train stations, okay, or the public transportation. So you still need a car to drive, okay. That's the difference, okay. But in terms of securities, okay, nowadays apartments are fully monitored with CCTVs, trained personnel 24 hours sometimes, okay, depends on what type of apartments that you are choosing, okay. So and there are many apartments buildings. We have the locks, security doors at the entrance, as well as the car park level. So there will be 3 tiers kind of access. So it'll be very safe. Okay, and I would say that you probably need a card or remote to actually access into the building. So it's in terms of security, is much safer. Okay, unlike the house, maybe you can actually share with us this, like, what's the difference between the houses?
Yeah, okay. So, well, in Australia, not many gated and guarded estates. They are more usually on the open space concept houses. Unlike in Malaysia, gated with security guards, some more, okay, are quite common these days. And just imagine if you have all these systems incorporated in the house, the cost will incur, and then having it to maintain is also costly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I would say that if you really want to buy a house in Australia, you have to accept the open concept without gate. Okay. And if you ask me whether is it safe or not, I guess it's like depends on the locations as well. But
Yeah.
I think this is one of the norms in Australia. So I hardly see any house with full gates and
Yeah, they do, unless there's a mansion,
yeah,
big
like I
mansion,
said, unless it's a mansion, okay. But normally those are the normal one.
Yeah.
Usually it's the open concept. So I would say in summary, okay, the main reason apartment are often easy manageable compared to the house, and one thing is because of the build up is a lot smaller, okay. And also general and apartment unit is cheaper in managing compared to the whole house because you don't have to pay anything extra for the upkeeping and utilities, okay. And especially you talk about gardening, you don't even have to pay for extra for additional space for heatings and coolings, okay. Therefore your utility bill is actually I would say lesser in apartments, all right. Well, this means that also another a big concern is the cleaning, okay. Smaller space, less cleaning, okay. And but on the other hand, will be less storage space for your stuff, okay. So if
Yeah.
collecting a lot of
Yeah. Imagine you are staying in a house or bigger house and you have to move to an apartment. I
yeah,
think you have to start whether you are throwing some of your furniture away or giving out.
exactly. So probably might will not keep so much rubbish, okay.
Okay. No, don't
Just a
say
room is
rubbish,
like,
okay, Mandy?
yeah,
Antique, okay?
Okay, so antique. So and I think the storage space is much smaller. It's like really, really smaller in the park
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah. Well, homes helps a person to save money in the long run. Owning a home makes us owners to responsible all the expenses like insurance, repairs, maintenance, or upgrades of the properties, and of course the property taxes. I mean, this is because the land detached houses are on the no appreciation in value as the populations increases. Definitely the appreciation of the value of the house is definitely up again, right? So yeah, building on the other hand, so again depreciate in value. I mean, when you saw buildings means the apartments, there is a wear and tear, and of course, time to time you need to maintain. So house also, one thing is they do give you a greater potential in growing value, especially when you can renovate it. You do renovation and you do some extension or even rebuild. I mean, you can see some of the old houses right now. I mean, in Doncaster, I know sometimes in those matured ones, those were the days that the houses are really very big. And right now, those families, when it comes to downsizers, children's already going out to stay on their own, they're actually downsizing. And then quite a lot of developers actually take it as a boutique developments. They make it small and then they even do it at townhouses or even a few homes by itself. Instead of one big home, they probably have it smaller for 3 or 4, right?
Yep. So it depends on which area, again, which we touch on it on our first episode. Okay. So different locations have different advantages and disadvantages as well. So it's really hard to say that you must buy a house or you must buy an apartment. So depends on the locations. Okay. Some locations is like if they have plenty of plot of lands to build houses, definitely would be a better choice for you to invest in house rather than apartments, because you know that people there prefer house compared to apartment. But if you're looking at matured area whereby land is scarce, okay, not much developments going on, okay, and if they would have a new developments, definitely going to be apartments. So you can't be telling me that you want to buy a house, but if you are giving me that right budgets, okay, which can afford a house there, definitely you can go for house. Otherwise, apartment still a better choice if you want that address. Okay, so you have no choice with the limited budgets. You can just compromise for the apartment. So that's the difference. Okay, I over here I would not say that house is definitely a better buy, okay, or apartment. So again, it depends on your needs, your objective, which we actually covered on our part 1 last week. Okay. So when talk about apartments, because like I said before, they are generally more affordable. Okay, entry level perhaps is cheaper. Okay, and distance wise is probably closer to cities. Okay, or more convenience, accessible to those locations, or closer to the cities, okay, closer to the amenities, public transportations, okay. So therefore, a lot of people, especially those first home buyers or property investors, nowadays, they also will choose apartments, okay, because one thing, entry level is actually cheaper in terms of costing. Also, is cheaper to actually invest in an apartment rather than a house. Okay, and when you talk about insurance, maintenance, upkeeping, and all these things, often is already provided by body corporate, like just now you mentioned. So you do not need to pay extra to cover all these things. And the best part is that you can actually maximize your rental income while minimizing your expenses, because always apartment we have a better rental yield compared to house. I guess in everywhere, not just in Australia. Okay, even in Malaysia, you discover that apartments, 1-bedroom apartments compared to one whole house, the rental is actually much better in apartments.
Yeah, but one thing there's also one point that I have to add in is when you go for holidays, those people who love to go holidays, you know, apartments tends to, you know, you go holiday, you just lock it out and nobody knows that your apartment is probably, you know, because there is those people, unless those people are staying around you because it's quite close. But again, if you stay in a house, your so-called house is definitely like no one coming out. I mean, yeah, and then you got to ask your neighbor to take care for you, you know. That is what I've seen some of my friends doing, you know, your neighbors to come in, you know, water the plants, you know, uh, give them a pair of spare keys for them to go in and switch on some of the lights, you know. Then apartments, I don't see any of these issues.
Yep.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and then, yeah.
So, especially you talk about kids, it's like during summer breaks or whatsoever, they want to go holidays or come back to Malaysia or other countries, okay? So usually they don't have to worry, okay? They just lock the door, okay, that's it, okay, they can come back.
Yeah.
House is probably you might be worried a bit, yeah.
And a lot more cleaning after that. You come back from a holiday.
Yeah, think about it, okay?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess we have covered a bit more on the criteria, the differences when buying a house versus an apartment. And the next topic, I'm sure everybody was more interested to know about the cost of the tax when comparing these two, okay? So we will cover this not next week, okay, but next month, okay? Will be on the second week of September. So do stay tuned with us, okay, if you want to know the different costs and the tax for buying these two types of properties, okay? So for those who missed our earlier episode, okay, you can also go back to our Facebook IQI International Sales, okay, or Instagram or YouTube to watch the replay, okay, especially those who miss our part 1, all right, so you can watch the replay, okay. Do give us plenty of likes and love, okay, support us by sharing our program to your friends and families, and I look forward to seeing you on our next Friday, 9:30 same time, okay. We will cover another interesting topics in another country, Europe, okay, but next week will be in Cantonese, okay. We have two speakers who will share with us the story in Europe, all right, so do stay tuned.
Yeah, should you have further advice, please feel free to contact either of one of us. Visit our IQI Global website, www.iqiglobal.com for more info. I'm Angela. Stay safe and strong. Be strong.
And I'm Mandy. Take care and have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.